Hey y'all, it is July the 22nd, 2024, and over yonder is an old dog. She old. She, she's wandering. She's wandering around. I'll let you know if she has something to say. Alright, yo, I'm gonna make this a brief video. Of course, you should be checking out my X feed. Alright. That is, I mean, if you're curious, if you happen to be on X, I know a lot of people get kicked off of X and banned from it. I don't know what y'all be doing, getting kicked off and banned from X. They haven't given me no trouble. But, you know, for like the, especially the local updates, but I also talk about other stuff. Like, check this out. It rained. It rained, and it did rain during my lunch hour. And usually I don't even go out for lunch because I make my own lunch. But this time I actually didn't. I wasn't prepared, and so I got the idea. I said I'm gonna eat junk. All right, we'll talk about that later and stuff, man. I can eat junk. We're gonna talk about it later, but I really appreciate it. That's the thing of it. And no, it doesn't feel good. All right. But people in San Antonio eat junk all day, every day, all right? And you pay the price. But anyways, I almost paid the price because it was raining. It's raining hard. Just from out of nowhere, just caught you by surprise. And it's terrible. It's been raining the past couple of days pretty damn hard, all right? So people got in a gang load of accidents and stuff everywhere around town. People can't drive in San Antonio. It's the driving apocalypse. I said the word faggot on Twitter. The reason I said that is because the Atlantic, they did like a report, or they investigated or something. The Atlantic said the last 3 months the word faggot been used and tweeted 2.6 million times. Well, blame Elon Musk for that directly or whatever. It's a big W, says Lily, and I also said it, so it's 2.6 plus 1 million times, right? For whatever it's worth. I saw this one, this guy, Tim Pool, he saw this guy shoot this lady, this police officer. He shot a lady, happened to be black, up in Baltimore. There's a lot of black people there. Shot her straight in the face. And I saw video footage, chest cam footage, and it seemed like he shot her and she did not deserve it. That's what it really seemed like. So I also said it was murder, and it seemed like it was murder. I don't want to go on too much. There's going to be videos more closer to the weekend in which we get into mad detail as far as the Twitters. I'm sorry, not the Twitters, the X. We're going to get into mad detail and stuff about it, but we don't have that much time tonight. All right? I want to talk about a couple of things. Speaking of Elon Musk, he had a pretty powerful interview recently with the Jordan B. Peterson, and I didn't see it, but I heard some stuff about it. Alex Jones was talking about it. And what Elon was talking about his son, his used-to-be son. He used to have a son. I'm sure he has like plenty of children now, but his first son, I'm told, used to be his son, now no longer his son, turned transgender. God turned transgender, all right? Heavily influenced from the outside, obviously. Children do not turn transgender on their own, right? So Elon felt he was all emotional about it, and he probably should be and stuff, man. I'd be all emotional about it. He said, I had a son, and it was my first son, and then it got taken away from me, and basically got murdered when you think about it, because his son is dead. All right, we're gonna talk about that more so in another video later on, because we don't got time, not tonight. But I do plan to talk about it as far as, because when you transgender a person, basically, you're murdering the person. You really are murdering the person that was before. Right? Some people don't mind that you murdered people, but I kind of mind. Shout out to Ellen Page. She was murdered. All right? Ellen Page is no longer with us. Like, for example, her mother doesn't give a damn, right? That her daughter got murdered. Ellen Page's mother, she don't give a damn, right? But I do. Tell me why I do, all right? I wasn't severely attracted to Ellen Page or anything like that. I'm just saying she no longer lives with us. Now we got to deal with Elliot Page, and Lord knows that person is a lot less attractive, right? To say the least. So, but I wanted to get up out of here real quick because the thing is, I got to go to bed pretty soon. Actually, it's 8:57 in the p.m. here, Central Standard Time. And I want to be asleep by, say, 9:30. I already took a little bit of melatonin gummy, you know, and that'll help me. I really don't need it, but it does help to ease me into slumber. I already took some. All right, but before I do, I wanted to talk about a little bit, and it's not the first time, right? It may not be the last time that I talk about, and we're going to talk about it more so probably later, but the silent prayer. I believe it was coined by Jesse Lee Peterson. Perhaps it existed beforehand. Nothing's new under the sun, right? But the silent prayer, right? Because, for example, there's people out there who might have trouble relaxing, right? From time to time, or maybe all the time. Trouble relaxing, and I don't live in your skin. I can't help you in that way, right? So I'm not God. I can't really help you in that way, right? But I can lend some advice that was given to me, especially by Jesse Lee Peterson, right? And he gives this advice a lot, but however, a lot of people don't take advantage of this advice, the silent prayer, all right? So just speaking in general, just speaking like real briefly about it, and you can go to SilentPrayer.TV, I believe. I believe that's the domain to hear Jesse Lee actually describe it to you in full detail, so you know exactly if you did want to try it. If you did want to try it, but coming from me, I just want to say that basically what it is you know how people pray, and they'll pray for this and that, or they'll pray how much they love their heavenly Father and this and that. All right, but the silent prayer is actually very different, in which you don't pray really anything. You don't conjure up any sort of like things to say or things to ask for or anything like that. Basically, what you do, and Jesse Lee says to do it morning and night, and that does make a lot of sense because you start off your day right, and kind of get yourself centered with it at the beginning of your day, and then at the end of your day, when if you have trouble relaxing, that could help you as well. And of course, you can do a silent prayer whenever you want to, all throughout the day. So the silent prayer, depending on how long you want to do it, depending on how long you need to do it, it could take time. Me personally, I don't even have to take much time, but I do a lot day and night when I wake up and before I'm going to sleep with the silent prayer, just for that reason, because you want to start your day off right, and then you kind of want to like finish your day off right. All right, so basically the silent prayer is where you don't say nothing at all. So a lot of people would have trouble with that, all right, because a lot of people are all wound up. Thing is, I don't really have that problem necessarily. I'm not that wound up, even though I am pretty wound up, right? But a lot of people get themselves all worked up, right? Um, all right, so most people, they stay busy and keep busy throughout the day, and we're going to talk more about this later, but they do so because, first of all, their lives are busy. Maybe they have a lot of responsibilities, but secondly, it's because they want to not sit and think. When they sit and think, lots of times it gets them all depressed, gets them thinking about stuff that they'd rather not be thinking about, all right? So they'll be working and just keeping busy all day long, right? Until the end of the day, in which they're kind of wound up already, and they're wanting to relax. But however, now they have a lot of thoughts, and I've been told this by many people. They have a lot of thoughts, and it makes it kind of tough to go to sleep when you're thinking all these thoughts. Me personally, I'm not trying to brag here, but when I'm ready to go to sleep, I want to let you know I'm not thinking about anything. All right? And that's a concept that we gotta discuss later on because we don't got time. But I'm actually capable of it, and thank Jesus. I don't know who. Thank God. Throughout my life, I've noticed that if I wanted to turn off my brain, that I could do it. Now, I have had sleepless nights, plenty of them, I'm sure, in which my thoughts been racing and stuff like that for whatever reason. Maybe I'm excited, maybe I'm nervous, maybe I'm terrified. I don't know. I have experienced that, so I know what it's like to stay up with all these thoughts racing through your mind, right? But I do also know what it's like to have zero thoughts. Not like for a long, long time, but for brief periods of time, I can cause myself to have no thoughts. But we're going to have to talk about that later. All right. So, what I'm talking about right now is the silent prayer. Now, what's interesting about that is that it's not the silent prayer, you don't really talk about anything. You're not saying a prayer the way people traditionally do. You're saying nothing. You're sitting there in silence, in a very relaxed position, perhaps sitting up a little bit just in silence. It's silent. You don't have no music on. There's nothing. I mean, maybe the ambiance, like if I were to do it right now, yeah, the trees are rustling. Yeah, there's stuff in the background, but not, besides that, nothing. All right, and I just accept the nothingness of whatever's around. A lot of times, I'll be in my bedroom because it's at the beginning of the day and the end of the day, so that's where I'll be. So it's even more silent. It's just silent, right? The trouble a lot of people have with that is because they want to keep themselves busy up until the time they go to sleep, and then their thoughts are all racing. So they don't really like the silence. People really don't like the silence. Why? Because thoughts conjure up. That's the whole point. It's really the whole point. We're going to talk about it at length later. But see, thoughts, you did not create thoughts. I'm telling you this not because it's my opinion, but this is what I know. You've created nothing in your life, and neither have I. We do not create things, right? We are not the creator. We're kind of like creative as human beings, but anything we create has already been created, and so we really don't deserve the credit for it. God deserves the credit because He's the creator, right? So, but we do not create thoughts, and a lot of people trip on that. Thing is, we are antennas. Basically, thoughts, if you want to make it simple, thoughts kind of float in the air. Think about radio waves, The radio, you can't see the radio waves, but somehow they come through the radio or whatever, the internet waves these days. And somehow you have the internet, right? It's kind of like how human beings are. They think that they're creating their thoughts. You're not creating anything, right? Thoughts are floating through the air and they float into your head and whatever. So the idea behind the silent prayer is that you might have thoughts float into your head that might make you uncomfortable. A lot of people don't like being uncomfortable, but the idea is you're supposed to lean into your uncomfortableness. Say you're having thoughts or whatever that you just don't like. You'd rather not have those thoughts. Sit there in silence and think those thoughts anyways. But don't try to think whatever thoughts you want. You're just letting the thoughts happen. Jesse Lee Peterson describes it as imagine you're watching a movie. Have you ever watched a movie? You don't try to make the movie do what you want, right? The movie is just playing and you're observing it. Whatever happens. So the thoughts, you're just observing them. You don't try to manipulate them in any way. And so you might get terrible thoughts. You might get all sort of horrible thoughts. You might get good thoughts. You might get any number of different kind of thoughts in your brain, right? You are not even in charge of that, nor did you create any of those thoughts, nor are those thoughts coming from you, obviously. You are not your thoughts, right? But people sit up at night with their thoughts racing and stuff like that, thinking that if they think hard enough, they'll be able to think like themselves into a utopia or something like that. It's not never going to happen. Your thoughts are never going to get you anywhere anyways. So you might as well just think whatever thoughts come to mind, right? And after a while of doing that, I don't know how long it'll take, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, it could be 15, 20 minutes. I really don't know. However long it takes, you're doing this silent prayer in silence, just thinking whatever thoughts come to your mind, and you're absorbing them. You're observing them, and you're taking them in, and you're considering them, but you're not like consciously trying to manipulate your thoughts. You're just observing them. And then you'll find, especially after a long, hard day, that you're gonna get kind of sleepy. All right, it's gonna make you kind of sleepy. And I do believe that you'll find that afterwards you'll really have no trouble going to sleep, because instead of trying to avoid your thoughts or ignore your thoughts or run away from your thoughts the way that people do throughout the day, you're kind of facing your thoughts head on. And basically you let them run their course. And by the time they do that, you look around and you realize that everything is all right. And there's nothing to even think about after that, except that everything's all right. And then I do believe that you'll feel very relaxed after that. Although sometimes when people have a lot of things on their mind, a lot of things they've been running away from in their life, sometimes the silent prayer will get them real worked up or even scared. It does happen, I'm sure, especially if you had trauma, or if you've had like certain things that you just never really dealt with in your life and you're running away from problems. Yeah, it's gonna take some time to process all that sort of stuff. All right, but the silent prayer in that way kind of helps you to process all that sort of stuff. And I do believe that it also helps you to see the truth. Lots of times you have to be in silence and just become part of the silence in order to like really see the truth. Lots of times that happens. All right, so we're going to talk about it more later probably, but that's just an idea for some people. And of course, most churches will not ever tell you anything about that. They'll tell you like to say 7 Hail Marys and or this and that, and just accept Jesus and stuff like that. And really will get you nowhere. But in my experience, the silent prayer is of great benefit. Of great benefit, especially if you got stuff that you're dealing with in your head. Now, I'm going to get up out of here. That's my advice to whoever out there. But also, I do want to stress, that's my advice to myself. I'm kind of talking to myself right now, right? Because we're in the end of days. A lot of people don't want to believe it. I'm telling you because it's a fact, all right? It's not my opinion, oh, it's the end of days. Chaos, calamity, lawlessness is abounding. That's for sure, all right? And with all this happening, I still go to sleep very easily and very well. Don't you want to know how? All right, but that's my advice to myself if I happen to be in the future. If I just so happen to be in the future, times probably will get even tougher and tougher and tougher, all right? Famine, disease, lawlessness abounding, war, rumors of war, all that, not having anything type stuff. That's very stressful. It's very stressful, so I might need to have to remind myself that peace, you get peace from within, and that's through God, who a lot of people aren't convinced that exists, but yeah, he does exist. You get peace from within. So a lot of people will spend all sort of money trying to get peace. Oh, if I buy this, or if I purchase this, or if I get a subscription of this, or whatever, this and that, well then maybe finally I'll get peace. Your boy over here doesn't like spending money, and furthermore, there's people out in this world who have peace, who don't even have no money. All right, who don't, you know what I'm saying? It's like peace is something that you could attain for free. All right, that's what I want to stress. But I'm gonna get up the hell up out of here. and I gotta go to sleep. All right, so I'll holler at y'all a little bit later.